Trump has issued a threat, claiming that if Russia fails to show a stance on ending the Russia-Ukraine conflict, the United States will impose sanctions on Russia through means such as tariffs. However, this threat seems to have no effect on Russia at all. Dmitry Peskov, spokesman for Putin, responded that Russia already has rich experience in dealing with sanctions and thus can obtain exemptions from the United States. Meanwhile, Russia has begun to take tough measures against Ukraine. According to information released by Ukraine, Kyiv has just experienced another night of earth-shattering attacks. Russian missiles and drones have come one after another, resulting in the breach of Ukraine's air defense network. Multiple areas in Kyiv have been hit hard. The airstrikes have caused at least 6 deaths and 52 injuries, and there may be more people trapped under the ruins of collapsed buildings. The scale of this airstrike is unprecedentedly large. Witnesses claim that throughout the night in Kyiv, the sounds of explosions from air defense systems intercepting Russian missiles and the buzzing of Russian drones could be heard. Multiple areas suffered varying degrees of damage. For safety reasons, several neighborhoods in Kyiv were temporarily blocked off. After the airstrikes, Zelensky immediately spoke out on social media, accusing Russia of attacking residential buildings. Andriy Yermak, head of Zelensky's office, also released a video accusing Putin of being fearless. Yermak called for more sanctions and weapons, claiming that he believed Trump would lead the United States to achieve peace through strength. At a time like this, Zelensky is still counting on the United States. Such unrealistic illusions will undoubtedly deepen Ukraine's crisis. Even Trump himself has admitted that he does not know whether those measures will work against Russia. In fact, even if Trump further shortens the 10-day deadline, it will have no impact on Russia. Russia has its core demands on the Ukraine issue. If Russia's stance does not receive sufficient attention, Moscow will basically not consider compromising with Ukraine and its Western allies. Currently, Russia is stepping up its strikes against Ukraine. Earlier, the Russian Ministry of Defense issued a statement confirming that Russian troops used Iskander missiles to precisely strike a Ukrainian military training ground in Chernihiv Oblast, resulting in approximately 200 Ukrainian soldiers being injured or killed in the airstrike. Similar incidents have occurred many times before, even forcing Ukrainian military commanders to resign, but this situation cannot be changed. Because as long as the Ukrainian military has training needs, its personnel have to gather at the training grounds. Now, the Russian military is increasingly fond of striking these logistical targets of the Ukrainian army, which undoubtedly makes the situation of the Ukrainian troops on the front line even more deteriorating. At the same time, the Russian military is stepping up its offensive on the front line. According to Russian media reports, the Russian army has captured the city of Chasiv Yar in Donetsk, which is undoubtedly a major victory achieved by the Russian military in a while. Chasiv Yar is adjacent to Bakhmut, separated by the Seversky Donetsk-Donbass Canal. Controlling Chasiv Yar allows the Russian military to consolidate its control over Bakhmut and further push the front line towards the Slaviansk and Kramatorsk urban agglomerations. The current situation is extremely unfavorable to Ukraine. The Ukrainian army is being passively attacked from the front line to the rear. Moreover, Zelensky has offended both the United States and the European Union. As a result, while U.S. support has decreased, the EU has also joined the ranks of withholding aid. Even with such support, Ukraine was already struggling in the fight. Now that the support has decreased or even disappeared, Ukraine's pressure is unimaginable. In addition, Russia has begun to strike civilian infrastructure. Therefore, in my opinion, for Ukraine, the most sensible choice at this stage is still to immediately negotiate with Russia and strive for a ceasefire as soon as possible. Because Ukraine has been at war for several years, it is now very weak and really cannot afford to continue consuming. Moreover, I believe that the U.S. ultimatum will not work at all. It may even become a window of time for Putin to act. If Ukraine could have decided on its own to negotiate and reach an agreement with Russia at the beginning of the conflict, how could it have fallen into its current situation?